a show where a couple of friends watch movies of old and aim to figure out if the viewers were spot on or a little off. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Tristan.
And this week, we're talking about... Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Do you think that like it's always Beetlejuice and then they like spelled it that way in the movie to be like, well, he's like 600 plus years old, so they would have spelled it differently. But then they just spelled it normal in the title just because they were like, I think people are too stupid.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like, it's spelled very different in the movie. And they must have, people were mispronouncing it, so they had to redo it.
I do think that he wasn't lying when he said he was like 600 years old.
Yeah.
So, we do have another co-host. It's a cricket. So if you hear it, that's what that is. It's not. Sometimes I listen to podcasts and I'll hear like street noise. And because of whatever my headphones are doing, I'm just like, God, the cops are here. And I'm like, oh, never mind. It's in the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. How are you, Tristan?
It's been a
while. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I don't remember if when we did the last over the summer, if I had like just gotten sick or just over being sick. I don't remember what it was, but I got sick. I'm healthy now. Which is great.
Great.
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Work's good. School's in session.
Yeah.
And we're just getting through it. I had a long day, so I'm eating right now. So if you hear me pause, I'm probably regurgitating.
You're eating, and I've got a cricket haunting me. It's great.
Yeah, same thing. Anyway, Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton, produced by Michael Bender, Richard Hashimoto, Larry Wilson. Oh my gosh, Larry Wilson. Really? I say that because I had a professor in college named Larry Wilson. And he would have never produced this. Distributed by Warner Brothers. Production company of Warner Brothers and the Geffen Company. Which I looked into. The Geffen Company was short-lived. David Geffen eventually went on to to start, I don't know how to do that, DreamWorks.
Oh.
Yeah, but Geffen Pictures was a bit short-lived, started in 1982, and ended in 1998. It split between Warner Brothers and DreamWorks. Because I'm assuming because David Geffen. Key people involved: David Geffen, Eric Eisner. So this had a lot of interesting stuff behind it. Some of the movies under the hat of Geffen Pictures: Risky Business, Little Shop of Horrors. Yes. Interview with a Vampire. And of course, probably the most famous of all, Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Nice.
Yeah. They also did... Oh, shoot! They also did Tales from the Crypt for HBO. Do you remember Tales from the Crypt? Were you aware of that?
I was aware of it.
Oh man,
I don't know if I ever actually watched it, but
there
I'm
were
aware of it.
reruns late night, and I would always accidentally turn onto it. I would go to bed real late as a kid and scrolling through the channels, and I'd see something, and it's mysterious, ominous, whatever it is, and then something horror related would happen, and I was just and then the Crypt Keeper would come out, and I'd be like, got me again. They also did the Beetlejuice cartoon, which is actually one that I was a big fan of. It was on ABC and then Fox Kids, and then I believe Nickelodeon syndicated it.
Interesting.
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of random facts about that studio. Where's my window? Here's my window. Anyway, rated PG. Shouldn't be. Should not be. Can't we retroactively go back and re-rate things? Is that impossible?
I feel like we should. I mean, I know that
Someone's got
some
the
movies
time.
have, but yeah. I mean, I watched it on the streamer that I watched it on. I had this is only for mature audiences played before it, and I was like, but it's PG. What's going on here?
It does have the F word in it.
I watched it and I was like, oh, that's why it's had that warning, because nowadays you couldn't get away with the F word and a couple other curses.
I think it would definitely be PG-13.
For sure.
I know this movie and Spaceballs are rated PG, but have the F word in it. Which is wild. Wild. Just all things considered of how prude I feel we look back and feel that American culture is a bit prudish in a lot of ways. And that I'm sure this is why we got PG-13, but wild that no one thought that prior to 1989. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, so here's the crazy thing. This movie came out after the PG-13 rating existed.
And there's everything in this movie.
Yeah. So
there is gore. There's explicit sexual, if maybe not explicit, a lot of innuendo.
Yeah.
And
not the type of innuendo that would just fly over your head.
Right. A bit of provocativeness.
Yeah.
Language.
Yeah.
Certainly adult content.
Yeah.
So it's wild that this is PG.
Yeah. So, I mean, just a little bit of movie history here. It was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out in 1984, and there was a couple of other movies that all had a PG rating. And Steven Spielberg was one of the main people who helped kind of push for another rating to exist, because it was G, PG, and R, essentially. And so after those movies came out, a lot of people were like, whoa, this was not a great movie to bring my kids to. And so then they pushed for it. So 1984, I believe, was when the PG-13 rating was introduced to film ratings. And this movie came out 4 years after that. So apparently child slavery was enough to make a PG-13 rating, but everything this movie had did not constitute.
Which is so funny because Tim Burton, I should have looked up the news reports on it. I don't know how much pushback. I feel like this one always kind of had a weird horror kind of bent to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's had a lot of trouble with parents because when when Batman came out in 1989,
mm-hmm.
it was rated PG-13, but they did a lot of toy marketing for it. And so when the second one came out, they pushed the toys ahead of it, and it was still PG-13, and parents were in an uproar because the second Batman movie is pretty dark.
It's dark, yeah.
Something's wrong with me. I love that movie, but it is the most dark. Like,
Yeah.
I love that people are like, the Christian Bale one is like, or the Christopher Nolan one is like dark. This is dark Batman. I'm like, have you ever seen the second one?
Yeah, no, that one is dark.
Yeah.
The Christopher Nolan ones are like gritty realism,
Right.
but not
dark. This one's freaking dark.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Well, I don't know if we will or not. But
Maybe.
Continuing on, it came out March 30th, 1988. Considered a comedy fantasy, but on IMDb, it gets a little more nitty gritty and a dark comedy.
Dark comedy. Mm-hmm.
Certainly. Runtime, hour and 32 minutes. It is a movie, just movie, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it not too long,
We could have
certainly not too short.
only gotten through half of a Mission Impossible with that.
Now I'm very curious if they I can't talk and type. Gosh.
Oh, challenge.
Whoa. You know what?
Oh,
Regardless of how
this
good
is
it
exciting.
is, regardless of how good it is, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But props to Tim Burton. His 2024 horror comedy Beetlejuice is an hour and 44 minutes.
Wow.
That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. We have watched so many movies in the last however much that we are so impressed with.
Yeah. Oh, it's an average length movie.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So it has a budget.
It's meeting the bare minimum to be a feature film.
Exactly. It had a budget of $15 million, and I didn't find the details on it, but based on the information here, it looks like it pretty much only showed in the US and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And it made about $75 million.
Nice.
So for 1988 and how low budget it was, great success. Has a cult classic, cult following. I'm sure with what's it called? Video, DVD, VHS, all of that, it made way more.
Mm-hmm.
But those numbers are just not as easy to find. And I wish they were. I wish. But I don't have access to them. Alrighty. Starring Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and of course, Michael Keaton. I have to say, we know Alec Baldwin as older Alec Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Like 30 Rock Alec Baldwin, I feel like is kind of what our image of him. We're both millennials. I was 1 when this movie came out. By gum, he was a handsome man.
Yeah.
Like every time I was just looking at him like, he's playing a nerd. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy.
It was interesting to see him as not a Jack Donaghy type character, because even in Mission Impossible, he was a little bit of a Jack Donaghy, a more serious version, but like we see him as this like kind of businessman kind of character now. So it was fun to go back and be like, oh, he's just playing like a goofy, nerdy guy that
It's funny
is fun.
I feel like the Alec Baldwin we know in the Mission Impossible movies, follow me on this, is like a real life and a more streamlined Captain Kirk.
Oh yeah.
Like how he talked, his pacing and all of that. And I say that because in this movie, none existed. That does not exist. He's just normal.
He's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of him, it's always I think of 30 Rock first.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, he was in Hunt for Red October.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. He played Jack Ryan, right?
Yeah, he did.
I'm eating again. Sorry. So, Gina Davis. I honestly forgot about Gina Davis, and then I remembered how much I love Gina Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Winona Ryder was only 17?
I knew she was young. I was like, wow, when did Edward Scissorhands come out? Because she was in that too.
It was after.
Yeah.
91? She was in her 20s by then, I think.
Yeah, I knew it was somewhat of a close time, but yeah, she was so little.
Yeah. It's crazy to see Catherine O'Hara in this again, having done the tradition of watching Home Alone and then seeing her in other movies and more recent TV shows as she's gotten older, and it's just funny to see her in the Delia role.
Yeah, she's
very good at it.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Jones, don't want to talk about, and then Michael Keaton. I'll explain why later, but Michael Keaton, man, what a tour de force! He's crazy. I will give him that. He looked like he was just having fun. I can't imagine, like, how fun is it? Because you put the makeup on, you put the wig on, you feel like a different person. And then you're told, hey, be this different person. And I think I recall an interview with Michael Keaton where he was describing the making of Beetlejuice and said that there are some portions that were very much written and Tim wanted them in that pacing, in that timing. And then there was some stuff that was just improv. And watching the movie and thinking about that, I honestly can't tell which is which, because it just feels like he's doing improv the whole time. He just feels so natural in it. No wonder they were very hesitant to have him play Batman. Alrighty.
Very different role.
We haven't heard this in a while. Now we transition to the recap rewind, where one of us recaps the movie in our own words. And this week, it is up to me. And let me tell you, I was up for the task. I don't know. It could be garbage.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, it could be absolute garbage. I'm just going to move it over to a different format because the one I had it in, I can't read. Because I'm a grandpa. I'm tired of this, grandpa. It's too damn bad. All right. All right. Long ago, in the late 20th century, in a far-off place, Connecticut, a young husband, Adam, played by Alec Baldwin, and wife, Barbara, played by Gina Davis, invent the staycation. 2 weeks of uninterrupted house time, building models, doing home improvements, avoiding relatives. Insert innuendo here. Mike, don't forget to insert the innuendo. It's very important to the plot, and if you forget, the joke won't... Oh, crap. Anyway... Adam and Barbara head to town to grab some things from Adam's hardware store. On their way back, they swerve to avoid a dog and run the car off a bridge. At first, you look at it and you think, they could have survived that. And then you realize it was the 80s, where every car accident was probably death. They appear back in their home and they realize they've died. They discover that if they leave their house, they appear on Saturn, where there are sandworms. And if you didn't know that it was Saturn, neither did I. I realized it for the first time, viewing it this last time, as someone said it in a passing joke.
Wait, what?
Yeah. We'll talk about it. There's so much I learned in this movie this time that I'd never noticed. As they deal with afterlife, reading through the book of the newly dead, or whatever it was called, a new family moves into their home, the Dietzes, a family from NYC looking for an out. The father, Charles, played by real-life monster Jeffrey Jones, is like a real estate guy or something. Oh, I got a typo in there, and I don't know. He feels stressed and feels like a small town will help him relax. He's married to Delia, played by not a monster and truly a delight, Catherine O'Hara, who is an eccentric artist who's just kind of a caricature of New York art. And Charles's daughter, Lydia, played by Winona Ryder. As they arrive, they are accompanied by interior designer and all-around odd person, Ortho. Otho? Ortho. Uh-oh. No, it's Otho. I wrote it, and then I just had the worst fear of, like, that can't be right. Played by Glenn Shaddix. I am such an idiot, man. I'm so bad. It's been a while, guys. Delia and Otho work to turn a beautiful country home into a New York art installation. Adam and Barbara are upset and try to haunt the Dietzes away, but fail. They see a commercial for a Beetlejuice who might be able to help them, but decide to check out their dead manual again. They resort to getting help from Juno, played by Sylvia Sidney, who tells them they're on their own and warn them to avoid Beetlejuice. Upon return, they learn they had been gone for over 2 months, and the home is completely changed. I'm a bit fuzzy on the timeline here, but they do talk to Beetlejuice, and he is an absolute pervert. They decide to pathetically try to scare the Dietzes with some sheets, and they learn that Lydia can actually see them. They befriend her and work to scare her parents away. At an important dinner with Delia's agent, Adam and Barbara possess all the adults and have them dance to Harry Belafonte. I gotta say, it's a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
And they also attack them with some kind of shrimp creature. Not only does it fail, but it causes the adults to want the ghost to come out. Beetlejuice makes his official haunting appearance and scares everyone and almost kills Charles and attacks Lydia, but is stopped by Barbara. Lydia is now scared of Adam and Barbara, and they feel guilty for what they did. And Beetlejuice has now got an idea about his second chance at the living world. Adam and Barbara are trying to clean up their mess and check in with Juno again, who tells them they have to scare the family out. But when they return, they realize they really like Lydia, and they want to invite the family to stay. But the Dietz and Otho want to use the couple to star in their amusement park. Otho uses a death manual to resurrect Adam and Barbara, but it immediately goes south because their bodies are dead and start deteriorating. I don't know how no one saw that coming. Desperate, Lydia agrees to marry Beetlejuice, which would bring him back to the living if he promises to save Adam and Barbara. Beetlejuice stops the ceremony and quickly moves to marry Lydia. She protests. He forces her to agree. Everyone is trying to say Beetlejuice 3 times to summon him away, but Beetlejuice prevents it. He sends Barbara to Saturn, and right when the marriage is about to be settled, Barbara crashes in, riding a sandworm, which swallows Beetlejuice, and they are all saved. Except there were 2 other people at the meeting. It was like Charles's boss and Charles's boss's wife, and I'm pretty sure Beetlejuice killed them. Anyway, the Deets and the Ghost live happily ever after. Jump into line. Okay, I believe you. Okay, there's gotta be a copyright infringement here.
We've used less than 30 seconds. We're good.
Okay, and pieces. What if we did the whole song, just break it up?
Yeah.
All right.
Just do some pitch shifting. I think we should be good.
So, Beetlejuice, when they first meet, calls the place Saturn. But he says it so quickly because he talks so fast that you don't notice it.
Huh.
And he goes, "Oh, you've been to Saturn? Sandworms." You know what I mean?
Yeah. He said it, and it's said in a way that I was just like, he just talks gibberish. So,
right. But Krista, I threw her under the bus. Anyway, she watches TV like an old person, and so she has to have captions or else her brain doesn't hear it. And so we had the
This was a hard movie to like.
The sound mixing wasn't great.
Yeah.
Anyway, when he said that, I read Saturn and I was like, "Oh, what?"
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes some sense. So is this also a sci-fi?
I guess.
Anyway, what'd you think of the movie overall?
Oh, I don't hate it. I don't like it.
Oh,
I don't plan on watching it again.
interesting.
I remember vaguely watching at least part of it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was enough to scare me, but not enough to scar me and like make me remember it. So I only like vaguely remember. And I thought the sandworm situation was a much bigger situation than it actually ends up being.
Did you ever watch the cartoon?
Maybe. Because it was in that more, right?
Are way more of a story plot in the cartoon.
So maybe I watched the cartoon and that's where it came from. But like, I don't know. I have a vague memory of having seen this movie, but not remembering anything about it except for the sandworm situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie that's definitely from the era where comedies were kind of like, you had your extreme comedies, but then you also had this comedy that was it's off the beaten path kind of comedy. And I'm not talking about the dark comedy situation of it, but like other things that Catherine O'Hara has been in, like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, and like those ones, they're funny, they're good, but they're weird.
Irreverent. They're irreverent. They're funny out of sake of just how kind of out there it is. Yeah.
And so I feel like this kind of has some of that element to it. And I, for some reason, I mean, I enjoyed I guess I enjoyed the hour and 15 minutes that Beetlejuice wasn't in the movie. I think Michael Keaton did like a good job just doing that crazy character. I think, well, I'll get into it later, but I did not enjoy his character.
Interesting. Interesting.
So, how about you? I think this is going to be one of the few that we have very differing opinions.
Yeah. I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Beetlejuice as a character is he's like I love to hate him. He's good to hate. And like I was laughing out loud. I was watching it with headphones and I was laughing. And then Krista was trying to read, but then kept like laughing and all of that stuff. And then eventually was like, okay, I want to watch it. So I loved it. And I don't even think it's just nostalgic. Like I really like I like Adam and Barbara's story. I like Lydia. I think Lydia's a very funny character. I actually do really enjoy the Dietzes. And I don't want to say, like, I don't like Beetlejuice, but there's something about him that is very funny. And the fact, I guess it's that the jokes are written the right way in that he is atrocious. He is a piece of crap. And everyone agrees.
Yeah.
No one justifies a single thing he does. Everyone hates him.
Yeah.
And he also acts in a way that deserves that hate. And I thought that's great. So that's to me, it's very like clear cut. This guy sucks. These guys are cool. The afterlife is weird. And yeah, done. So I enjoyed it. Is it like the best movie, whatever it might be? No. I think my enjoyment and the actual grade I give it is going to be odd. Because I think some people will think that they don't actually match up. But
Interesting.
I actually think they do.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think for me, I think going into it, I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan. I like some of his movies, but his I don't know, the way the worlds that he creates aren't ones that are interesting or not interesting. Like I'm not drawn to those. I'm not like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think I may have gone into the movie that created some bias towards not enjoying it.
Interesting.
And that may have influenced my enjoyment of it. I agree. I think I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
like I said, I like most of the story. And I mean, I guess I can skip forward a little bit, but he's only in the movie for 14 minutes and the whole movie's named after him, and he brings nothing of import to the story really, except for the fact that he's the one who saves them at the end. And I was reading, there's a thing that's talking about how the original script, he was like the main bad guy, and was a much bigger role. And in that, it would make more sense if he was a bigger role. But it's just weird that it's like he's what the movie's named after,
right?
And you could have had the movie not have him at all and basically had the same movie. At least story wise.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part. But I don't know. I think that kind of bothered me a little bit in it. But we can discuss that more when we can discuss it more now, or we can discuss it more later. But
that's interesting. Well, I think it's worth Might as well just dive into it. We'll get into the things we like and the things we don't like. But
Yeah.
so you're saying you don't like it. He's only in it for 14 minutes. Expound.
I I mean, I have a lot of thoughts, and I feel like I'm kind of scatterbrained right now. Um, I didn't see why this movie has a following or why it's relevant enough in today's culture to earn a sequel. It was funny. There was some really interesting visuals with it. But like, I don't know. I just don't see how it's a movie that has a following. I think it, in my mind, it's, oh, Tim Burton has a following. So because he has a following, this is one of the movies that people are like, yeah, that's a Tim Burton movie that I like. I don't know. I just,
Well,
I don't think I vibed with it.
I think I can answer that in two aspects. One, it got a sequel because money.
Right.
That's what it was.
That's why everything's getting
yeah,
sequels
that's
nowadays.
why we had 2 new Ghostbusters, one of which I did not watch, and I have no idea if it's good, but I haven't heard good things. That's why we have a bunch of, that's why there's a Beverly Hills Cop Netflix movie show.
Yeah. No, I get
money.
it from that perspective.
The second thing, and I think since you may have missed the boat, I think it doesn't have as much weight. And I think too, if you're not really into the like Halloween, the holiday, not the movie, but the holiday, Halloween, the
aesthetic,
goose and goose, the ghosts and ghouls kind of aesthetic, and the world that Tim Burton builds. If you're not a fan of that, it makes sense. But I do think that aesthetic does resonate with people.
It does, yeah.
And then outside of that, so I guess it's a threefold. 1, money. 2, Tim Burton has an aesthetic that people resonate with. And then 3, I think Beetlejuice itself as a movie has a weird place in the zeitgeist where that was Tim Burton's first real movie.
Right.
Because he did Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but that was looked at as like a kid's movie. This one was its own way where it dove a little deeper into the claymation and into the weird aesthetics.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton was still kind of an unknown. And then he really transformed himself into that character. And I'm pretty sure a lot of teenage boys fell in love for the first time in their life watching that movie. So I just think it had a weird spot in the zeitgeist. And if you were in it, you were in it. And if you weren't, you weren't. Like, Chris is not a big fan of Tim Burton. But she laughed. She enjoyed it, whatever. I have a line with Tim Burton. Once it was like, I don't know, what was the probably like 98, 99, around there. Kind of done. Like, I didn't really care for anything after a certain point. And I don't know why per se. Nothing really hit in a specific way that would cause me to feel that way. But there's definitely a point where I just like stopped caring about Tim Burton, or that his aesthetic lost its charm.
Right.
Actually, I think I'm lying. Let me look. Director. Show me the direct. No, don't tell me an error happened, you dink. All right. So we had Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow. Okay, so 99, I'm okay. When he did Planet of the Ape, dude, screw that guy. I didn't realize he directed it. Big Fish, I really enjoyed. That probably goes to the extreme of his weirdness. But I really didn't. I haven't watched anything else or cared about anything else if I watched it. So, like, I do. There's a line, and it was around 2000. After 2000, I just couldn't care less. His aesthetic was not charming anymore.
Like, yeah, no, I think I agree. There's a certain point where it's just like, okay, like.
But there's something to be said that like Beetlejuice was the start of that aesthetic. Because Pee-wee's Big Adventure still had a lot of Paul Rubin kind of building the world and dictating what kind of goes on. Beetlejuice was the first one that it was like, this is Tim Burton's world.
Right. Yeah, it's his vision of like his art style that he likes to do.
And I just think it just charmed people. Yeah.
The Nightmare Before Christmas was not directed by Tim Burton.
It was not. He produced
but it's very much a Tim Burton movie.
He produced it, and he had a major hand in it, but he was not the director.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I think he wasn't the director because of the stop motion animation aspect of it. He wanted someone who actually knew how to do all that to direct it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like I get that. And I like if you like this movie, if the person that's listening to this really likes this movie, I hold
the most
nothing
contempt.
Against you. No. I hold nothing against you because I get it. Like it is a certain aesthetic that works for people and then it doesn't work for other people. And I'm just not one of the people that is super drawn to that aesthetic. And I can appreciate the art that was done with it. But I think that's a big part of why I didn't enjoy it. Kind of getting back to my comment on the like the character of Beetlejuice not really being in the movie, and it just like to me he felt super underdeveloped. And I think I don't know if it's because of script rewrites or because the studio told them like you need to change this and this, or like how it all came down to be, but it felt like he was supposed to be this bigger character,
right?
And he just he's zany and he's crazy and he's like everybody hates him and they should hate him, but like why is he here?
Right.
You
and
know,
I think that could have been fixed in the beginning of the movie, or not the beginning, but post Adam and Barbara's death, where clearly he was posting in the model. Like he was clearly making that his hub. If we would have seen some of that influence more throughout the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. And I think if it was just like, we needed just a little bit more into who his character is, I think, to make it more interesting for me. Because he's this mystery character that like, he's this bad guy that doesn't have like, don't trust him, blah.
Right.
But like, we don't get the why we shouldn't trust him. why is he so
Well,
powerful?
I don't know if that's true because Juno gives a backstory on him that I feel at least gives us the idea of like why we shouldn't trust him. It's vague, but
Juno tells us that we shouldn't trust him. She doesn't tell us why we shouldn't trust him. She just says, don't trust him.
No, there's another point.
Yeah. Yes. She says, don't trust him. He used to be my assistant and he takes things too far is basically what she said.
Yeah.
But like, and like, that's fine. And that's another thing that bothered me was that she's like, oh, you summon him by calling his name 3 times, but don't do it.
Right.
Don't do this thing that I don't want you to do. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It just felt like her explanation was just enough to be like, hey, he's not a good guy and you shouldn't summon him. And he's going to make things harder if you do.
Yeah. You know,
and,
just
and
some exposition. That's all. It's just exposition.
Yeah, it's just enough to be blah, blah, blah. But I don't know.
I will add on to that just a little bit, if I might. And it is simply that the ending, or rather his plan to marry Lydia to become alive again or come into the real world, that's actually a good plot. Like, that's a good idea.
Yeah. They just shove it in right at the end.
We don't have any connection to that. Why should we know that? If he like, there was the scene where he was partially introduced where he opens up the obituary and sees them and he says, this looks like a couple of suckers. Great. And then because Lydia is checking out the model when they're gone, they could have literally shown one scene of him going like that and going, this might work.
Yeah.
And like start getting into it. But it gets that he says something about that after he does the snake scene where he turns into a snake and he almost kills Charles. Then he alludes to the fact that she could be something for him. We don't really get an idea of what. They could have been building that up. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is like, we don't get anything really from him until the last 30 minutes of the movie. Or 15 minutes of the movie, I guess. But like the way he's introduced makes it feel like he's just a sleazy salesman.
Right.
But he has these deeper motives.
Right.
And it doesn't make like why are his motives, why did his motives drive him to even bother with Adam and Barbara? Like what do they have to do with him trying to find somebody to marry? If maybe they read it in the book,
right,
they're like, oh, apparently we can come back to life if we like convince somebody to marry us or something like that. I don't know. Like you said, if they introduced it earlier,
if there was like a what's the book from Evil Dead, Necromonicon or something like that.
Yeah.
If there was like the evil side of their book where he's, reading through that maybe hundreds of years prior, and that's how he starts his business, because it would make sense that he would hire himself, get opportunity to haunt the living
so that he can
find someone. That makes sense. I had to develop that.
Right.
I am posing that as an idea. That was not given to us in the movie. Had that been given to us, most of the movie would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like the way the movie currently exists is you could pretty much completely write out his character and you make Otho more of a villain. Yeah. And like Lydia can still be the one that saves him at the end because she can see the book, so she like figures out a way to save them from whatever's happening, blah 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 blah. And you could have not had Beetlejuice in it at all. And I feel like
arguably Beetlejuice didn't actually do anything.
right.
He just
went
and that stopped it.
And that was it. So I don't know. I think
I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. I don't disagree, but I also don't fully agree. So, I guess we can leave it at that because
we can call the whole thing out.
Yeah. Because I think the idea that the movie is Beetlejuice based on his 14 minutes in the whole thing is silly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Beetlejuice wanting to be the main character may have been there in the production side of it, but Adam and Barbara are the main characters.
Yeah.
They're the ones. They could have done a different title and, How to Die or How to Live Dead or something, they could have changed it to something where it was referencing that. And you would have had, even with Beetlejuice in it, and it would have been, you would have been like, oh yeah. But there is something to Beetlejuice being the title and a character in it that you would assume that he would have a much bigger part of it. But he's not. You're right. It's a very short-lived part. I do agree that I don't actually think the plot itself hinges on him. I do think the time in history that it has hinges on it. Because there were zany characters and stuff, but I can't think of, at least in the 80s, a character that was like Beetlejuice, where it was
right.
Because horror movies started getting really popular in the late 70s and into the 80s. And I know that there were people making fun of horror movies then, but this was the first one that was like, let's not make fun of it, but what if we did just make a comedy?
Yeah, what if the horror was a funny guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that, and I honestly don't think that removing him from the movie and making a movie that was just about Adam and Barbara and the Dietzes and like that whole thing, I don't think that necessarily would have been a better movie.
Right.
But it feels like the script that they ended up with is basically could have been the movie that I described.
Right.
And not been, it would not have been as culturally significant, but it would not have been really any different than the current movie as it is. So I don't know. It's weird.
It does lose that aspect of comedy because Delia is weird. Lydia is weird. Charles is a dork. But there is something to say that, like, Beetlejuice kind of makes the comedy dark because he is such a repulsive character. And putting him up against Adam and Barbara makes you like them more because of how much he sucks.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're in agreement that it's an odd thing, and Beetlejuice's value is very subjective. It's not an objective value, but it is truly like to the story itself. He kind of works, he kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
To each person who watches it, there's something charming about it. There's something that isn't. He could be. There's that idea of like he's a repulsive character, but the joke is how he's stacked up against Adam and Barbara. But I can see how people would watch this movie and only see the repulsiveness and not actually see it, the juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, and I should say I think there were moments like I think if he was at the beginning when the commercial starts playing, or not the beginning, but early in the movie when the commercial starts playing, and he's like, "Hey, just say my name 3 times and I'll be there," and like that whole thing, like that's a funny scene, and he's just like just goofballing it up to be like this crazy ad, and like that worked, and I get it, and I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of getting defensive because I have to like.
No,
this is the first time that we've been
you don't like
of
it.
different opinions. I don't
okay.
have to. I just like
okay.
as I'm talking, I'm like, I think I'm talking defensively, and I'm not trying to be defensive.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, I think like he does have those funny moments. I think my biggest thing was he just like his motives weren't clear or they seemed to shift throughout the whole movie until the very end. We're like, oh, this is actually his motive, but we didn't know that until much early. We didn't know that until later.
I think your point of underdeveloped is excellent, and
I saw in one of the trivia things that the studio wanted to give it a different name, like they weren't happy with it being Beetlejuice, and I wonder if that's because of this similar thing where like he's barely in the movie. Why are we naming it after him? And then funnily, they at one point they were almost going to call it like House Ghosts or something, and Tim Burton as a joke was like, "What if we call it Scared Sheetless?" And they're like, maybe. So like, this movie could have almost been called Scared Sheetless.
Mm-hmm. That might have actually been funny.
Yeah. Sorry. We can move on from this. What do we like best about this movie?
I like the couple. I like Alec Baldwin, and I like Gina Davis. I like Adam and Barbara. I think their story I think they're very charming. I really enjoy them. I do like how they develop, and they really like, they see the good in Lydia. They don't see, the tortured teenager like her parents do, but they see someone that they find to be a friend, and that's cool. I like that. And I like that it's so interesting that she becomes more hopeful in life by a bunch of ghosts.
Right.
She becomes less goth because of her experience with ghosts, which, or with death, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's just a very interesting, very funny thing. I do like the aesthetics. I think it looks fun. It's cool. The house is friggin' ugly as it can be.
It's
horrible what they did. But I do like the aesthetic. I do like a bit of the cinematography is really fun. Some of the visual effects really neat, especially for that time. For that time and that budget, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I loved the afterlife. I love it. I think it's very funny to turn death into like a task.
Hmm.
Like, I think that's a very funny concept. Also, took me a while, but someone said it somewhere in the movie where it was what is it? People who commit suicide are relegated to office life.
Yeah.
And then it made me want to look at all the people and go like, how did you what did you do? Like
Yeah.
the flat guy, I'm like, did you jump in front of the car? Like, how did you
Mhm.
do that?
Yeah. Some of them were obvious, and other ones were like, "Hold on a second."
Yeah. I also like the dead, like the what
Civil servants, I think. is
civil
what they call them.
servants.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved the guy with the chicken bone in his throat.
Oh yeah.
There was a guy who had like a swordfish through him, I think. All of those jokes.
There was a lot of weird ones. Yeah.
A lot of visual jokes that to me were very funny.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed them. So I really enjoyed the visuals of it. I do like Michael Keaton. I think Beetlejuice is such a weird freaking character, but how he does it, his pacing, his timing, his voice. What makes you qualified? Well, I graduated from Juilliard, and like everything he does, I really enjoyed how he acted and did all of that. There's lots that I really like about it, but now thinking about it, some of the hardest part is just the plot. Like, what? I get the point of Beetlejuice. I get it. I understand what they were trying to do. But the final outcome doesn't have a path to it. There's no path to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of takes some of the fun things. It's like Star Wars Episode 9. The first time you watch it, you're like, that was awesome. And
Yeah.
then you watch it again and you're like, oh God, no.
Yeah. What have they done?
What have they done? This one I thoroughly enjoyed it, but there were definitely some parts that the Lydia part, just Beetlejuice and Lydia, when he caught her eye, or the other way, when she caught his eye,
Mhm.
and then he like whispers his plan to himself. I did have a genuine, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I thought there was more. I thought this built up more. I thought I remembered it building up more. No, it
That's
makes no
it.
sense. So those are the things I like. What'd you like?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned a lot of things that I have written down, but the mix of the cartoony claymation world and like the miniatures and the models
Right.
with real life, and how they like used real people and puppets to create these like really interesting ghosts and ghouls and stuff, like the burnt guy.
Yeah.
Like it's actually his face, but the whole body is just this puppet, and like there's a lot of that.
Great joke too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good joke.
I'm
trying to cut back.
I appreciated the way they made the world.
Yeah.
Like obviously it doesn't look real, but that was the whole point. They wanted it to look otherworldly,
Right.
because it was. And I agree, the visuals for the time and for the budget were interesting. I really liked the way that they did the minute when they were in the model town,
Yeah.
and how they didn't just like green screen shrink them down into it, but they created a large miniature to for them to interact with, and like the car that Adam drives that looks like a little toy car, but it's a functioning vehicle like that.
Yeah.
Those elements were really fun.
Yeah.
There were, I wouldn't say all of the the wardrobe was this way, but there were certain things that like Lydia and Delia's outfits were just like fun to look at because they're just so crazy, and like she has her hair like on her face and like has the little curls and everything. Yeah, and I like the relationships between Lydia and Barbara and Adam. Like those were fun relationships. Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of the things, or basically repeating stuff that you said. And you know, Danny Elfman.
Oh yeah, Danny Elfman. Gosh, the music was fun. Oh, he's so fun. Yeah. Copyright.
I don't think anybody would be able to figure out what you were singing there.
Hey Siri, what song is this? Anyway. She's like listening to me. Stop it. All right.
Stop it.
Things I like least. Strings. The budget hurt them a little bit.
Like seeing the strings.
You could see the strings
yeah.
so much. And it's partially, you know what's funny is it was partially because of the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how they wanted the world to look. It was very dark, all that, but the lighting was very specific, and the lighting's great, but it was very specific, and with that catches the strings. You know, I saw so many strings, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, not that I expect them to be able to do anything else, but it's also, you know, you can only do so much with the budget, but check it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope I didn't come off too repetitive with my what I didn't like about it earlier.
Other things I don't like. Jeffrey Jones. That guy sucks. That guy can die. I don't know. Do I have to bleep that? I probably have to bleep that.
Yeah, that's rough.
he let's say this. He's put on a list that everyone should be very aware of and avoid him at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did some very bad things. And it sucks watching this and going like, I really enjoy him. And then reading that and going,
bummer. Yeah.
Bummer. That's why he's dead in the new one.
Yep.
In the preview, they're like, Grandpa died. And it was like, I saw a meme about it. And it was like, oh, this person's not in the movie. Did he die? Oh, no, he's a pervert. Anyway, I know that's not the movie's fault in any way, shape, or form, but it does. It does cause something. Where it's those are the few things when an actor does something heinous, it seeps into the enjoyment of the movie.
Yeah, it's like watching a what's his name? Kevin Spacey movie now. You're like,
I can't. Yeah, I can't. Mm-hmm. And there's a few that I really enjoy.
Yeah,
but I can't anymore. Yeah, that's a really good point. Anything else? I know mine was off the rails, but is there something you do not?
No,
you've made your piece.
I feel like I've said what I've said, and I feel like I'm going to make a lot of people upset by saying that I don't like this movie.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Did you have a character that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, I think my favorite character, I think, was Lydia. She's super dramatic, but also like one of the most empathetic characters in it because she's like the real person. Like, even though she's this dark and like, I have emotions, Dad. Like, she's also the only real person other than like Adam and Barbara and Lydia are like the only real people.
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
this movie, surrounded by people that are living that are crazy,
Yeah.
and people that are dead, and
Who are
that's
even
just crazy
crazier.
because they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's her best role, but I think it's always enjoyable to
You know
watch
what?
Catherine O'Hara.
I got to give some credit to the writing, because definitely dark comedy. I never would have really thought that a suicide letter could be funny.
Yeah.
But when she's writing that whole scene is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
How she's like fixing her words, or she's like crumbling
like,
it up.
I jumped. No, I plummeted.
Like that's she does the read so well, but the writing is really good too in that moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, Catherine O'Hara, correct.
Just saying, it's not her best role, but it's enjoyable to watch her. In the stuff that she's in.
I always remembered myself not liking her, but I thought she was one of the funnier characters this time around. Like, she's a very funny character because she's so odd, but Catherine O'Hara has such a ambiance about herself that you still like her. She's still really charming, even though she's playing someone that is really annoying. And like I said in the thing, she's a caricature of New York. I was going to say like rich New Yorkers or whatever it is, but I don't even know if it's that. I think it's the socialite, but that still feels like rich. But that artistic person who feels very cultured and very everything, but then you look at her art and you look at her style and you're like, there's not a cultured thing about
nothing
you
there. Yeah. Yeah.
And she plays that very well. I think Adam and Barbara are my favorites. I think I realized that I always had a crush on Gina Davis, and I realized I also have a crush on Alec Baldwin. Like, it's weird. It's just, it's so weird. I don't know.
Young Alec Baldwin.
Well, young, because, like, I see Alec Baldwin now, and I'm like, something happened. I don't know if he had surgery. He looks different, and it's not an aging thing. Like, something happened. I must have missed something, but I don't see him in the same, like, this feels like a totally different person. And maybe it's that millennial aspect of, I don't really, he was there. He was, I think he was the Shadow.
Yep.
Hunt for Red October.
Yep.
He was in a lot of things that I did see and have seen. But there's literally like a point in time of like 2004 or something where that's all the only Alec Baldwin I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
So this young Alec Baldwin just doesn't exist. And then I watched it and I was just like, what a charming, what a funny, he's really good.
Yeah.
Do I like Alec Baldwin? But their characters, I think there's just something cute, I guess. It's so interesting that Tim Burton having such an odd aesthetic, and it can be contributed to the writing staff. There were 3 writers on the project, many rewrites, and Tim Burton didn't get onto the project until a bit later. So that's something to note. But you have these characters that are very normal. Like, they're when they're hiding away, avoiding, is it Barbara's sister? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
who keeps trying to sell the house.
The realtor.
Yeah. And when they're kind of hanging out in the attic and they're being very playful with each other, it feels kind of real.
Yeah.
And I think they just have a really good chemistry with each other in this movie. And it feels really nice because you are supposed to feel that tension with Lydia and her parents and with Charles and Delia and with Beetlejuice and everyone. Like there's
Right.
tension everywhere, but between them there really isn't any. And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's almost
And
yeah.
it creates the story of these two people are like, they didn't deserve all of this stuff happening to them.
Right.
And so that's part of like these people that are just nice people that love each other and are kind to each other and enjoy each other are
Just
like,
got the shortest end of the stick.
yeah, get forced into figuring out how to be dead and now living with people that they don't like.
Are
And
the polar opposite of them. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, any quotes? Anything that stood out to you?
Oh, I do have a few quotes.
Oh,
I just had
yeah.
this thought that I forgot about.
Yeah. What's up?
This is neither a thing that I liked or disliked. It's just a thought. The way that they die is so like unbelievable.
I cannot fathom how that passed. Put a boulder. Put something. You weren't going to put anyone in the car.
Make the river look
Dangerous.
significantly more dangerous than it actually. It looked like they fell like 5 feet.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like could have gotten out of the car very easily.
Right.
Anyway, favorite quotes is there's a couple from Lydia when Adam and Barbara are in the sheets and they're doing like the whoa, and through the wall, Lydia's like, how can you stand that woman?
What was it? You're an adult. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. We'll build you a dark room in the basement. My life is a dark room.
Mm-hmm.
And they want you to come down. They said you can wear any sheets you want. Like, just the way that she delivered those lines was pretty great. How about you? What are some?
I mean, I know they did it out of quotable to make it quotable, but it's showtime. I've always known that as a Beetlejuice line. The ghost with the most. I always like that line. I will read it, but I think I do think it's a very funny line of, what are your qualifications? And he's like, well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of Harvard Business School. I traveled quite extensively, lived through the Black Plague. And as he goes on, he gets more intense and just, and you're talking to a dead guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if his lines are particularly good, but how he delivers them.
Yeah.
Oh, what? So when they had the dinner with her agent and Otho is there and the other lady is there, is that supposed to be his wife? Or is that his friend or something?
At in
the middle one, the first dinner.
Oh, I don't remember. Like, they didn't really clarify relationships, but
right. Well, she says something.
I think there was a couple, and then there were two people that were like,
it's Otho, and then there was she's named Beryl. Adele Lutz was the actress. I don't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was just
like a friend
or something.
But she responds to Otho and she says paranormal. Is that what they're calling it these days? And then Otho says, don't mind her. She's still upset because somebody dropped a house on her sister. And I just was like, wow, catty. Jeez.
Yeah.
I just really liked that. I thought it was very funny. Anyway, you got anything else?
Not that I wrote down. I'm sure there's other ones, but
It's a good transition. And now we move on to the Review Rewind, where we take a look at a positive review, a negative review, and we see how we fall. This movie was generally well received. Metacritic had it at 71%, Rotten Tomato at 83%, Rotten Tomato audience at 82%, IMDb audience 7.5%. Tristan.
interesting that the critics and Rotten Tomato audiences like have the same.
Yeah.
Very rarely are they that close.
Yeah.
You want me to read the first one?
Yeah.
All right. Washington Post gave it a 100. Hilarious. The joy of Beetlejuice is its completely bizarre, but perfectly realized view of the world. A la Gary Larson's The Far Side or The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Now, I don't want to be rude. And this will probably piss someone off. But if you're using Far Side as like a quote or a reference as like a fully developed world,
it's not a developed world. It's a perfectly realized view of the world.
Anyway, I don't agree with that. As we talked about that in detail, that it's very much not realized. The view of the world, or the view of death, whatever you want, or the view of character development, whatever it is, it's not there. Anyway, the San Francisco Chronicle gave it a 25.
Yikes.
It's 2 hours of your life wasted. Time once spent that can never be regained. Don't go. Don't do it.
What did this person do for an extra 30 minutes?
They're the one that like comes in 30 minutes before the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And when they're still cleaning the theater
From the last one.
yeah, and just sits right in the area where there's like a soda stain too, where there's like sticky stuff, just blocking them,
is able to answer all of the trivia questions because they've been there long enough to see the trivia questions run back again,
right?
And
I don't know if they had that in the 80s, but
there in the 80s there was
slideshows. There was slideshows.
It was a slideshow and a guy up there that was like, "Hey, you know what movie was made in 1920?"
Hey, what movie was made in 1922?
What was the first motion picture?
Your mother. Anyway, now I'm very curious. What do you give it? What do you rate it? What grade? What grade do you give it?
I gave it a D. I don't think it's a complete bad movie. Like there are things about it that I appreciate. So for me, it was a D, and I think that's just more of the. I don't know what I'm saying. I gave it a D. How about you?
I give it a C.
Okay.
It's. I just think. Yes, there's so much of it that could be better, but I'm giving it points for effort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it had the possibilities were there. There was a lot of fun stuff there, but it just didn't meet the mark to go above that.
Mm-hmm.
So I will still watch it after nostalgic purposes, but I don't know. I'm not going to give it that much credit,
Yeah, I feel like it's a movie that for those that don't have the nostalgia for it, like it might be a little bit more of a difficult watch. Unless you're just a huge fan of Tim Burton movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that'll do. I think we talked about the movie.
We did it. I'm sorry if I offended.
You can write your letters directly, and then you can eat it because we're not going to read it.
Find us on TikTok and tell us how many times we said like.
Oh, I was not paying attention, so I bet a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back. This is our welcome back. We do not have a plan per se, but I do think there are a lot of movies there's just a lot of movies I think we want to watch. I don't know if we're going to have a umbrella theme to carry our way through these movies, but I will say there are definitely some movies from the 80s that I want to watch and I want to talk about. I don't know if we're going to stay in the 80s. But we'll see. Anyway, it was good talking to you, Tristan.
You too.
And it was good talking to you, audience. So you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok. I think it's Review Rewind Pod. You could go watch Beetlejuice since it's Halloween season, or not. That's fine too. There is a sequel. We haven't seen it. And, well, I guess that's it. This is the easiest one. Until next time, keep reviewing those rewinds, and we'll see you next. God, I said next time twice. What an idiot.
Gosh.